So on day 34, Job continues, and this is where you get to the end of Job's kind of speech, and then Elihu pops up, this fifth character in the book if you include Job. And just to summarize briefly where we've been up to this point, Job's three friends have been saying that God punishes the wicked and therefore Job must have sinned. And so that's what they keep going on and on at him about, that you must have messed it up, you must have sinned. Job disagrees with that, and he's saying over and over again, I haven't sinned and I'm righteous, and therefore by implication, God is in the wrong and he's being unjust. Now, God is going to come into the drama later and he's going to begin to kind of share what he thinks with Job and with his friends. But meanwhile, Elihu pops up. Now, at this point, all that Elihu is saying in a very long-winded way is, I've been taking my time listening to you lot have a go at one another, and now I am about to speak. But we don't really get much of the substance of what he says here, so we'll have to leave that for tomorrow. Psalm 18. This continues, and one of the things that I find a bit troubling about Psalm 18, and this is, with the Psalms, is people singing songs to God, and they're just expressing what's going on in who they are. Although God can still speak powerfully and does speak powerfully through them because they're in his word. But at the same time, there's a couple of verses here where the psalmist says, look, God's rewarded me according to my righteousness. Because I've been clean in his sight, he has rewarded me. And I don't know if that's necessarily, if we read the Old Testament through the lenses of the New Testament, which is the best way to do it, a foundation that we want to rest our own confidence on, our own righteousness. Because we read in many places in the New Testament about how all of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, to quote Romans, how all of us have kind of messed life up. But God in his infinite kindness has come to us anyway, and he's come to be our support anyway. And what we can do is we can say, in a way, with the psalmist, that we're right before God. But we get to say it with so much more confidence than he ever could, because we're saying it knowing that Jesus is our righteousness. That because when God looks at us, he looks upon his perfect Son, Jesus, we will always be right before God. And so we can always have a much more secure claim than this psalmist ever could have, that God will lift us up when we fall into deep waters, and that he will be our comfort and our support in the midst of trouble, because we're his right sons and daughters. When he looks at us, he's pleased with us. And the reason for that is the gospel and the fact that Jesus came to die on our behalf. So when God looks at you and he looks at me, he thinks, yeah, you're awesome. Because what he sees, incredibly, is his son Jesus and the perfection that came through him.